Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to India News here in Brisbane. Today here we are at the Central Queensland University campus where a very important function is starting very soon. And this is the roundtable between Australia and India on education. Australia-India Business Council, led by its national chair, Amrita, is engaging with the Central Queensland University here in this roundtable to basically discuss how we can bring back the Indian students and how we can again galvanize the education sector, which is the flagship sector between Australia and India. For over a year during the pandemic, both sides have been clamoring for opening up the sector, opening up the borders, while all thousands of students were stuck back in India. It is also important for the Australian economy, and it is also important for thousands of Indian students who are aspiring to have the best of the education that Australian education providers can deliver. So we are here at the roundtable, and at this roundtable, we were fortunate to speak to some of the leaders who matter in taking our relationship forward and galvanizing this education sector. We have spoken to a number of people, including the National Chair for Australia and India Business Council. We've also spoken to Bronwyn, who is at the Central Queensland University. We have spoken to Professor Sean Starr, who's at the Jindal Global University and who's also part of the Australia-India Business Council. So we have spoken to all these leaders to get a zest and a flavor of why education is important. Take a listen. Hi, Amrita. Welcome to India News. You are the National Chair for Education for the Australia-India Business Council. First of all, congratulations for getting this position. And how important do you think, as the National Chair for AIBC, is in promoting education, which is our flagship sector with India?
Thank you, Ashutosh. And I think right now, education, as you say, it is a flagship sector. And we're at a very pivotal point in terms of where we are at. Our borders are going to open, and in terms of what Australia can do and the place that we can play in the world from an education point of view, especially with the needs in India, I'm very excited about what can be done. There are a lot of challenges we have to work through, but I have no doubt that the opportunities are huge, both for Australia and for India. And so I'm very excited about what 2022 could look like for us.
And if I quickly ask you if there's any message that you want to send to the Indian students in India and to the regulators, policymakers, decision makers in Australia and India, what is that message that you want to share through India News with all those people?
I think the biggest message right now is let's work together, let's talk to each other and communicate and do the best that we can to remove some of the obstacles and accelerate forward in terms of making the connection happen.
Thank you so much for talking to India News, Amrita. Look forward to talking to you more in the future. All the very best.
Pleasure, Ashutosh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Sean Starr, welcome to India News. We are very excited to be here to attend this event. And first up, I want to ask you, you wear several hats. You are part of Jindal Global University. You are heading the Center for India-Australia Studies back in India. You're also, in a way, affiliated with the University of Queensland. You are in the executive committee of the Australia-India Business Council. You're also a board member of the Institute for Australia-India Engagement. You wear several hats. And I wonder how you want to use all those hats to promote a sector which is a flagship sector, that is education. So how important is education for the Australia-India relationship?
Well, thanks Ashutosh. That's certainly a lot of hats. It sounds like a whole wardrobe worth of hats. As you rightly said, education is one of the fundamental pillars of the Australia-India bilateral relationship, and one of the cross-sections or foundations of all of those hats, so to speak, is having education at the core, really. So in many respects, all of those roles and responsibilities kind of intersect at the education point. And I think, given India's demographic, dynamic youth, education is going to be so important, not only for the future of the bilateral relationship, not only for the future of India, but for the future of the world.
Sean, through India News, what we are trying is to spread the message of positivity on both sides of the border, in Australia or also in India. And if I ask you that if you have got some message for students back in India and also for the regulators and our decision makers, policy makers in Australia and India, what is that message that you want to send to all these people?
I think it's, India, there's a huge aspirational group of young Indians who want the best education that the world has to offer. Now, whether that education is within India, which is a very important piece of the puzzle, Australian universities have an important part to play in collaborating. And of course, within Australia, it's about accessibility, affordability, and making sure Australia is a viable option, but one of the most attractive options for the young, dynamic Indian population.
And you are at Jindal Global University, and you have done so many MOUs with Australian institutions, and you're signing one MOU this evening as well. How does Jindal Global look at its relationship with institutions in Australia?
Yeah, no, it's an important point. It's not, of course, just about the MOUs, but I think there's a signal there that we see Australia as one of the more valuable nations in terms of education partnerships. And certainly from our Vice-Chancellor down, there's a recognition that Australia boasts the most, some of the most or best education institutions in the world. And our students, our faculty want to be a part of that growth story as well.
Thank you so much for talking to India News. Sean, all the best for this evening's proceedings. And we'll talk to you very soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Bronwyn, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to India News, and we are very excited to talk to you about something which matters to not only Australia but also to India. And you are in a sector which is a flagship sector for Australia and also for India, education. Why is education so important, and how are you looking at the opportunities which are now opening up as the borders open up? So how does your university look at the whole scenario?
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you described us as a flagship sector. Education is our bridge to the future. It transforms countries, it transforms people's lives. If we can work together as two countries to grow the bridges and develop some really sound partnerships, then I think that is only the better for us. The strength is in being united and working together. We're really excited to hear the news that we might be able to welcome students back to campus shortly. We've really missed them here. They're a really important part of our community, our fabric at the campus, and as part of the Australian way of life now. And we can hardly wait till they come back. We're really looking forward to it.
Well, we are here to spread your message, Bronwyn, not only in Australia but also in India. So if I ask you if you've got messages for students back in India and the regulators here in Australia and in India, what is the message that you want to send through India News to all those people?
Firstly, as I said, welcome back. We're looking forward to having you back on campus. We have some great things planned for you. We know how important your future careers are, so we're well prepared and ready for you to come and take up your internships, take up your studies, and be global citizens that represent both CQuniversity, India and Australia going forwards.
Thank you so much for your positive message, Bronwyn. I know you have got a very busy day, but we'll talk again. Thank you so much for talking to India News.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bronwyn.